Chapter 25. And Abraham took another wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bore him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shuach. And Yokshan begot Sheba, and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Asherim, Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, Epher, Canach, Abida, and Eldaah, and all these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Ishiach. But unto the sons of the concubines that Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and he sent them away from Ishiach his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 160 years. And Abraham expired, and died in a good old age, an old man, and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And Ishiach and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zochar, the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the children of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham, that God blessed Ishiach his son, and Ishiach dwelt by Beer-lahai-roi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bore unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and Kedar, Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Dumah, and Massa, and Harad, and Tamah, Yeter, Naphish, and Kedim. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their villages, by their encampments, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he expired and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as you goest toward Asher, over against all his brethren he did settle. And these are the generations of Ishiach, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Ishiach, and Ishiach was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. And Ishiach entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord let himself be entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, wherefore do I live? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came forth ruddy, all over like a hairy mantle, and they called his name Esau. And after that came forth his brother, and his hand had hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Ishiach was 80 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a quiet man, dwelling in tents. Now Ishiach loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, and Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Let me swallow, I pray you, some of this red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me first your birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall the birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me first. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drank, and rose up, and went his way. So Esau despised his birthright. All right. we're going to go back up to verse 1. In the last chapter, we had the story of how Ishaq would get his wife after the death of Sarah. Abraham would send one of his servants. He would go into the land of where Abraham was from, the land of the Arameans, and there he would get from his brother's house, Nahor, a wife for his son Ishaq. Where he would not take a wife for him among the Kani that he lived among, those of humility, but neither would he allow his son to be returned to the place where he came from, the land of the Arameans, or those that are exalted. So his servant went forth and got Ishaq a wife. And today we're just going to kind of have several genealogies here and this other period after this time. And we're going to pick it up here in verse 1. And Abraham took another wife, and her name was Keturah. And Abraham would take another wife after Sarah. After Sarah would die, her name would be Keturah. Keturah is the perfumed. It means to be perfumed. I guess that would be a light way to put it. It actually means to be like the smoke or something that would come off incense. I guess Keturah, because it is the pleasant, or the feminine would be the more pleasant side of that. 2. And she bore him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shuach. And she would give birth to these other sons of Abraham. This is where the rest of the nations would come from, as well as the nation later that would come from Yaakov, the Zimran. And Zimran means to play with the fingers, as in musical instruments. Yokshan means insidious, as in one who is a snarer. And Medan, strife. Median is contention, and Ishbak is he leaves or he causes it to remain, and Shuach is the valley. 3. And Yokshan begot Sheva and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letuchim and Leumim. And Yokshan, that was the insidious, the snarer. He would give birth to Sheva, and that is the oath. Dedan is that low country. Ashurim, those that are progressive. Letushim, those that are sharpened or witty. And those that are gathered, the Leumim. 4. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanah, and Abida, and Elah, and all these were the children of Keturah. And this would be the sons of Midian, those that would come forth from Midian, the masculines. From Midian is contention. It will be Ephah. Ephah is obscurity, or to be not clear. And Epher, dusty, as in the dusty of the fawn. Hanach are the trained. Abida is the father of knowledge. Elah, the mighty one of knowledge. And all these were the children of Keturah. Keturah, once again, was the incensed, the feminine sense, or that pleasant incense. And that incense that gives off the smoke of pleasantness, we'll find out that smoke's always a little bit of confusion. 5. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Ishaq. But Abraham, father of many nations, would give everything that he had. All the inheritance would go to Ishaq, the one who laughs. He's the one that's going to carry on the Shem. 6. But unto the sons of the concubines that Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and he sent them away from Ishaq his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. But to the sons, these would come forth from these concubines. A concubine is just a one who would have these children, and that's these sons that we have just mentioned from Keturah that Abraham had. Abraham gave them gifts, pleasant things. He'd give them a dowry of some sort, and he sent them away from Ishiak, his son, while he was yet alive, eastward unto the east country. East is always towards that land of enlightenment, towards that land. That's where they journeyed. That's where they live today. 7, and these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 100 years. Abraham was 175 years old when he died. All these would be the days, even the understandings of these little understandings of the greater understandings, even in Abraham's life. That was the father of many nations. 100 years. 100 is judgment. 60 is 60. Well, it wouldn't be written as 60. It'd be written as 610. 610 is this that work of man, even in the law. And 15 is always going to be 10 and 5. That's the law. Has grace in the greater understandings. 8, and Abraham expired, and he died in a good old age, an old man, full of years, and was gathered to his people. And Abraham expired. To expire means to breathe out, and that means that breath no longer remains in you, but that breath becomes the scent of what's to come. He dies of a good old age. He's an old man, he's full of years, even full of greater understandings, and he was gathered to his people. 9, and Ishiak and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, the Hittite, which is before Mamre. So Ishiak and Ishmael, both of his sons, the one who laughs and this one that heard the mighty one, those that went forth from him to carry on his shim, bury him in that cave of Machpelah. We'll remember that's where they buried Sarah. Machpelah is that which is double, folded up. It's going to be repeated. Of Ephron, that dusty or the fawn-like. Zochar, the Zochar was the gleaming of whiteness. The Hittite, that's those of terror, which is that cave that was before Mamre. Mamre is that place of vigor, and that cave is the place where it was buried. The field which Abraham purchased of the children of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And this is that field which Abraham purchased, that open place which the father of many nations had purchased from these children of Heth, those of terror. It was in the midst of them that where Abraham was buried, and Sarah his wife. Sarah was the princess of princesses, the reflection of Abraham's understanding. 11, and it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed Ishiak his son, and Ishiak dwelt by Bir Lahahi Roi. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham, God blessed Ishiak his son. Ishiak, the one who laughs, this one who come forth from Abraham. Ishiak dwelt by Bir Lahahi Roi. That's that well of the living seer. 12. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bore unto Abraham. And these would be the generations, or the children of them, according to their generations. The firstborn was of Ishmael. That's the one that heard the mighty one. Nebaioth. And Nebaioth are those that are pleasantly fruitful, or those that are fruitful. And Kedar, those of darkness, that darkness as in the early morning. and Abdiel, the disciplined of the mighty one, and Mibzan, having fragrance, having odor, Mishma, a report, and Duma is silenced, Masa, a burden. 15, Kadad, inward, as in that chamber that's within. Tama is a desert or a dry place. Yetur, encircled or enclosed. Napish, rested or refreshed. Kadam means proceeds or goes forth. 16. These are the sons of Ishmael. These are the names, and these are their names by their villages, by their encampments, 12 princes according to their nations. These are the sons of Ishmael. Those are the ones that go forth from the one that heard the mighty one. These would be their Shems by their villages. That's the places where they dwelt, their encampments. 12 princes. 12 is always understanding it's the law that would be witnessed. These princes are the rulers according to their nations or their peoples. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he expired and died and was gathered unto his people. These are the years of the life of Ishmael. So these would be the greater understandings of even that life. A life is something we share of Ishmael, this one that heard the mighty one. 137. 100 is judgment. It always is. 30 is to witness the law, complete that witness of the law. That's the dedication. That's what it was dedicated for. 7 is to fulfill the greater understandings. And he expired, gave up the ghost, breathed out, and died, and was gathered into his people. 18, they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is, before Egypt, as you goest toward Asher, over against all his brethren, he did settle. And he would settle near all of his brethren, those that was like him. That was from Havilah to Shur. Havilah is that place that is circular, as in twisted, even for strength sometimes. The Shur, between Shur's the wall, as is before Egypt, that wall that before Egypt is that place of crypts, graves, traps, snares. As you go toward Ashur, that place of progress over against, and that's where he would dwell. And these are the generations, 19, and these are the generations of Ishaq, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Ishaq. These would be the generations, or those that would come forth from Yishak, and that's where most of the story we will be following. The one who laughs, Abraham's son, that's the father of many nations, the one who would carry forth his Shem. Abraham begot Yishak, 20, and Yishak was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. So Yishak was 40 years old. The one who laughs was 40. 4 tens, that's the work. That's the work of the Lord in the law and the greater understandings. And when he took Rebekah is this one that's fettered by beauty. Fettered by the beauty, the daughter, this understanding that went forth from Bethuel, the Aramean. Bethuel is that destruction of the Lord. The Aramean, that one, the exalted, one of the exalted ones, of Padan Aram. Padan Aram is the highland, or that elevated area of those that are exalted. The sister, that's one who has a similar understanding of Laban, the Aramean. Laban is white, or to be made white. The Aramean, white's always a symbolism of purity of those that were exalted. He would take Rebekah to be his wife, or that's a reflection of his understanding. 21. And Yishak entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord let himself be entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. So Yishak entreats the Lord for his wife. So and that's that holy name the presence of the Lord himself. He entreats him to ask him because his wife was barren, and the Lord let him be entreated. So the Lord let Ishaq ask him, because we'll find out we're talking about the God of Abraham. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And this, the reflection of his understanding, the one who was fettered by beauty, give birth, 22, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, wherefore do I live? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And there was a little problem, you might say. The children struggled together within her. There was two, and they were wrestling. It wasn't that common. She said, if it be so, how am I alive? And because she was having a trouble, and she went to inquire of the Lord. And she went to ask of the Lord. Oh, he's got all the answers anyway. If you get an answer from somebody, they probably had to get it from the Lord. He's got all the answers. 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your bowels. The one people shall be stronger than the other people. The elder shall serve the younger. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb. Now we will witness these nations, or these peoples that are in the womb that are still yet to be born. These 2 peoples that shall be separated from your bowels, talking about Rebekah, this one that's fettered by beauty. This one who is actually going to repeat or redo the story, and now we got the witness of this. But these people are going to be separated, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And one people will be stronger or have more strength, greater numbers, but the elder, that would be the stronger one, would be the one who would have to serve the younger. We'll find out why. 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, that's the understandings of this deliverer, her time, behold, there were twins in her womb. There was 2 there to be born. 25. And the first came forth ruddy, all over like a hairy mantle, and they called his name Isha. The first one, that would be the firstborn. In the beginning, he was ruddy, kind of a reddish color, you might say, all over, like a hairy mantle. And a hairy mantle is like a goat skin, you might say. This mantle is a covering. This hairy would be like a covering that's made from a skin of an animal. So they call his name Isha, and that's what it means, to be hairy or rough, kind of rough, hairy type. And we'll find out that's what kind of man he grows up to be. 26. And after that came forth his brother, and had a hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Ishaq was 80 years old when she bore them. And the second, now we can witness the second one to come forth, his brother. That's going to be the one that's got the similar understanding. We'll find out that they are going to be nothing alike. And his hand had a hold on Esau's heel. And because he had a hold of Esau's heel, that's how he got his name. They called his name Jacob, and that means this heel grabber, or the supplanter. Supplanter is somebody that tries to take over something that doesn't necessarily belongs to them. Maybe they get the charge or inherit the charge that wasn't theirs in the first place. And Ishaq was 80 years old when she bore them. It's Rebekah would be the she here. When Rebekah gave birth, that's the one who's fettered by beauty. Ishaq, the one that laughs, was 80, 80 or 6/10, because the work of man in the law is going to be the greater understanding of this. 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a quiet man dwelling in tents. And the boys, these young lads, would grow. Esau was a cunning hunter. As he became a man, he became a cunning hunter, one who had the ability to lie in wait. That's what a hunter is. He was a man of the field or the open land, and Yaakov was a quiet man. And he dwelt in tents. He stayed around the house and understood that ways of man. Even 28. Now Ishak loved Esau, because he did eat of the venison, and Rebekah loved Yaakov. Now Ishak, the one that laughs, loved Esau, the hairy one, this hunter, because he did eat the venison, and that's the wild game that is acceptable. It's the clean game. And Rebekah loved Yaakov, this one who was fettered by beauty. She loved Jacob, the supplanter. 29. And Jacob sod pottage. And Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. So Jacob was cooking some stew, and Esau came in from hunting. Obviously hadn't got anything, and he was hungry. 30. And Esau said to Jacob, "Let me swallow, I pray you, some of this red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. So Esau says to Jacob, "Let me swallow, I pray you, some of this soup, this red," and that's Edom. That's where he gets his name from. That red pottage, for I am faint. And he was hungry. This is used to show he was weak. 31. And Jacob said, "Sell me first your birthright." And Jacob, the supplanter, we'll find out, is going to take advantage of this. So he says, "Sell me first your birthright, or trade it for a bowl of this soup." 32. And Esau said, "Behold, I am the point to die. What profit shall the birthright do to me?" And Esau thought he was at the point to die, and may have been. We don't know the circumstances prior to his coming in. He could have been days without food. But at that point, his birthright had no meaning to him. The fact that he would be the one to carry on the Shem. And we have this today. It's illustrated by there are those that are rough, and they don't consider the Shem, the name that you have, that you are responsible for it. The male, especially the masculines who do carry the Shem, has no meaning. 33. And Yaakov said, "Swear to me first." And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Yaakov. And Yaakov, he's the supplanter, said, "Swear first. Give it up. Give me the birthright first." And he did. He gave Jacob the birthright. Esau did. 34. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drank, and rose up and went his way. So Esau despised his birthright. And Jacob did. After he said he would trade, he'd give him a bowl of soup of lentils. He did eat and drank. And the trade was made. He rose up and went his way. Never said no more about it. So Esau despised his birthright. He didn't so much despise it. Despise would be a little harsh here. He didn't treasure it as much as Jacob did. We'll find out. The Lord, this was already said by Rebekah when the Lord spoke to her that the younger would rule. And this is basically how the rule was exchanged, one giving it more value than the other. Basically, the intent is what it all boils down to, just like the offering before the Lord. The one that has the full intent to bless it is going to be the one who is acceptable. We're going to move forward. Genesis 26. Turn. It's return.